Welcome to this edition of the Dad Jokes Explained episode. My name is Graeme Klass, and I'm the producer of the Daily Dad Jokes podcast. Each week, we examine a set of dad jokes and explain them what makes them so funny. Our aim is to arm you with information on delivering your own dad jokes to your friends and family, so you can further spread the laughs and groans. Let's get to it.
Why does Indiana Jones only golf for 9 holes instead of 18? He prefers a short round.
This joke cleverly references Short Round, the name of Indiana Jones's sidekick in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. By associating this character with a golf term, it creates humor through wordplay. The punchline ties together golfing terminology with a well-known movie character for an amusing twist. This unexpected connection between film trivia and sports language delivers its comedic effect.
NASA is launching a satellite to say sorry to the aliens. They are calling it Apollo G.
This joke plays on the word apology, cleverly turning it into a pun with Apollo G. By referencing NASA's famous Apollo missions, it adds a layer of humor through wordplay. The idea of sending an apology to aliens is absurd and unexpected, enhancing the comedic effect. The punchline hinges on combining space exploration history with everyday language in an amusing way.
Not all construction work is equally enjoyable. For instance, drilling a large hole is boring, but fastening 2 pieces of metal together is riveting.
This joke uses a play on words to create humor. Boring is a double entendre, meaning both uninteresting and the act of drilling holes. The term riveting serves as another pun, referring to both joining metal pieces and something fascinating or captivating. By juxtaposing these terms with their literal construction meanings, the punchline cleverly highlights contrasting activities using language that has dual interpretations.
Roman general and statesman Julius Caesar never once said thank you in his entire life. To be fair, he did not speak English.
This joke plays on the historical fact that Julius Caesar spoke Latin, not English. By stating he never said thank you, it humorously implies a lack of manners before revealing the language barrier as the punchline. The humor lies in subverting expectations with an obvious historical context. It cleverly highlights linguistic differences to deliver its comedic effect.
My wife was mad at me for ruining our anniversary. I don't know how. I didn't even know it was today.
This joke's humor stems from the husband's obliviousness to an important date, a classic comedic trope. The punchline is his genuine confusion about ruining something he wasn't aware of, highlighting his lack of awareness. It plays on the stereotype that men often forget anniversaries, leading to humorous misunderstandings in relationships. This creates comedy through irony and relatable marital dynamics.
What kind of music should you play when you are fishing? Something catchy.
The humor in this joke relies on the double meaning of catchy. In music, a catchy tune is one that's memorable and easy to remember. Meanwhile, when fishing, catching fish is the primary goal. By using catchy in both contexts simultaneously, it creates a clever pun that ties together 2 unrelated activities through wordplay.
What do you call a fake color? A pigment of your imagination.
This joke cleverly plays with the phrase figment of your imagination, altering it to pigment for comedic effect. Pigments are substances that give color, so calling a fake color a pigment is an amusing twist. The humor arises from combining art terminology with imaginative thinking in an unexpected way. It's a pun that merges language about colors and creativity into one playful expression.
The tariffs must be working out better than expected. Even the Pope is now made in America.
This joke humorously suggests that tariffs have led to unexpected changes in manufacturing locations, even affecting the Pope's origin. The punchline plays on Made in America, which typically refers to products rather than people. By implying the Pope, a religious figure traditionally associated with Italy, is now American-made due to economic policy shifts, it creates an absurd and amusing scenario. The comedy arises from blending political commentary with a playful exaggeration about global influence on production origins.
I tried to sneak into a Star Trek convention disguised as a doctor. The security guard suspected I was not the real McCoy.
This joke hinges on a pun involving the character Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy from Star Trek. By attempting to sneak into a convention as a doctor, it sets up for the phrase, "the real McCoy," which means something genuine or authentic. The humour comes from using this idiom in relation to an iconic fictional doctor, creating wordplay that ties together pop culture and language cleverly. It's amusing because of its dual reference, both literal and metaphorical, to authenticity within the context of Star Trek lore.
I'm not using Amazon anymore. I ordered grain for my chickens. But after I got it, they sent an email asking for my feedback.
This joke relies on the double meaning of feedback. In customer service, feedback refers to opinions or reviews about a product. However, when ordering grain for chickens, feed is also what you give them to eat. The humour comes from combining these interpretations in an unexpected way that ties together online shopping and poultry care through clever wordplay.
I'm currently writing a book about drinking beer. I'm on my 4th draft.
This joke cleverly uses the word draft to create humour through its dual meanings. In writing, a draft is an early version of a document, while in beer terminology, draft or draft refers to beer served from a keg or cask. By saying he's on his 4th draft, it suggests both progressing with writing and consuming multiple beers. The punchline lies in the playful ambiguity that links literary progress with drinking habits.
My wife told me to take the spider out instead of killing him. Went out. Had a few drinks. Nice guy. He's a web designer.
The humour in this joke comes from a literal interpretation of "take the spider out," leading to an unexpected social outing. Instead of simply removing the spider from the house, it imagines treating it like a human friend. The punchline cleverly ties into this scenario by giving the spider a humorous occupation as a web designer, playing on both its ability to spin webs and modern professions. This wordplay creates an amusing visual image that subverts expectations about dealing with household pests.
After playing the guitar for years, I thought I could learn to play the piano. It's not an easy instrument to pick up.
The humour in this joke stems from the phrase "pick up," which typically means learning something new but is taken literally here. Pianos are large and heavy, making them impractical to physically lift or carry around like a guitar. This creates a humorous contrast between the expected figurative meaning of mastering an instrument and the literal impossibility of picking up a piano. The punchline cleverly highlights this absurdity through wordplay that subverts typical expressions about acquiring skills.
Why did the cook tell jokes to his soup? He wanted to make it a laughingstock.
This joke hinges on the pun between laughingstock and stock, a culinary term for flavorful liquid used in soups. The cook telling jokes to soup suggests making it literally laugh, creating an amusing image. By using wordplay that combines humour with cooking terminology, it delivers a clever twist on expectations about ingredients. This dual meaning creates an unexpected connection between comedy and cuisine through language playfulness.
Why did the guy get fired from the rock quarry? Because he took his job for granted.
This joke uses a pun on the word granite, which sounds like granted. In the context of working at a rock quarry, granite is a type of stone they might handle. The humour arises from the play on words where taking something for granted typically means not appreciating it, while here it's cleverly tied to his literal job dealing with rocks. This dual meaning creates an amusing twist by blending everyday expressions with occupational context.
I was going to tell the joke about the tropical birds I glued together. But never mind, it's too confusing.
This joke cleverly uses a pun involving toucan and too confusing. Toucans are tropical birds, which ties into the setup about gluing them together. The punchline plays on the wordplay by suggesting that explaining such an absurd scenario would be overly complex or puzzling. By merging bird imagery with linguistic humor, it creates an amusing twist through unexpected combinations of ideas.
I was thinking of opening a lingerie store, but in this economy, risque business.
This joke hinges on a pun with the phrase risky business, which sounds like risky business. Opening a lingerie store involves selling provocative clothing, hence the term risky. The humor comes from combining this with economic uncertainty to create wordplay that suggests financial risk in both senses.
I tell you a joke about airplanes, but it would probably go over your head.
This joke uses a play on the phrase go over your head, which can mean both flying above and being too complex to understand. Airplanes literally fly overhead, creating a visual pun. The humor comes from suggesting that an airplane joke would be too sophisticated for the listener, while also referencing its physical altitude. This dual interpretation creates an amusing twist through clever language use.
I almost crashed my car into a broken down ice cream van. I think he should have put some cones down.
The humor in this joke relies on the double meaning of cones. Traffic cones are used to warn drivers about hazards, while ice cream cones are a staple of an ice cream van's offerings. The punchline cleverly ties these two interpretations together by suggesting that using traffic cones could have prevented the near accident. This wordplay creates an amusing connection between road safety and sweet treats through linguistic creativity.
Did you hear about the two blood cells that met and fell in love? Alas, it was all in vain.
This joke plays on the pun between vein and vein. Blood cells traveling through veins create a literal context, while in vain means something done without success or purpose. The humor arises from combining these meanings to describe an unfulfilled romance between blood cells. This clever wordplay ties together biology and language in an amusing twist.
What's the most angry computer part? The keyboard. Everybody is pushing its buttons.
This joke plays on the phrase pushing its buttons, which means provoking someone to anger. In this context, it refers literally to pressing keys on a keyboard. By suggesting the keyboard is angry because it's constantly having its buttons pushed, it creates humor through wordplay and personification of an inanimate object. The clever twist lies in merging everyday computer interactions with emotional responses typically attributed to people.
I had a Mexican standoff with my boss the other day. Or as he called it, a one-on-one.
This joke relies on a pun involving Juan, a common Spanish name, and the phrase one-on-one. The humor comes from replacing the typical term for an individual confrontation with its phonetic equivalent in Spanish. By playing on language similarities, it creates an unexpected twist that ties cultural references to workplace dynamics. This clever wordplay delivers comedy through linguistic creativity and cross-cultural nuances.
My wife asked if I could pick up our kid from school today and take them to the park to play on the playground. I said, yeah, I should be able to swing it.
This joke cleverly uses the word swing to create a pun. In one sense, swing it means managing or arranging something successfully. The humor arises when this phrase is linked to playground equipment like swings, creating a playful double meaning. By merging figurative language with literal context, it delivers an amusing twist through creative wordplay.
I asked someone how many people they thought were in attendance at the baseball game. They said, I don't know. I told them just give me a ballpark estimate.
This joke plays on the phrase ballpark estimate, which typically means a rough guess. The humor arises from its literal connection to baseball, where games are played in ballparks. By asking for an attendance figure at a game, it cleverly ties together the idiomatic expression with its direct context. This wordplay creates an amusing twist through language that simultaneously references sports and estimation techniques. And that wraps up another episode of Daily Dad Jokes Explained. May these jokes inspire your own groan-worthy moments. This episode is produced by Klassic Studios. See the show notes page for sources and credits. Check out our other podcasts in our network at classicstudios.com.